Hi everybody, welcome to Beyond the Lines. My name is Sarah, I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, and today I'm working some more in the Outlander coloring book on the Geillis' workstation page, and I'm finishing all of the roof stuff up here. Lots of repetitive work, but I'm gonna chat away a lot. So I hope this video isn't too boring for you. Maybe it's more of a listening experience than a watching experience, but I hope you enjoy nonetheless, and I'm gonna see you next week with the next part. Let's do some more roof coloring, cause we can, and the picture has to be finished. So I put out the pencils I used last week in the video, so these are the ones, and I don't think I need the blue and the white, so yeah, let's keep it in the jar because I might color some of the jars here, but I want to get some of the roof coloring done, lots of it to be exact. So I'm just gonna start, just like last week, with my olive green, same colors, I guess, as last week. So I'm just gonna have some squiggly lines here to put in as wood grain. And I have zoomed you in quite a bit, so this is what the page looks like now. And I'm hoping, I don't think I will be able, but I'm hoping that I get most of the roof colored today. I was thinking, depending on how much I'm gonna talk, because at one point it's just too repetitive talking about the art style or the artwork itself. But if I have other topics and just keep chatting away, then I might keep this all in real time. Otherwise, it might be that I'm going to have some of the video be in time lapse, because it's just pretty much the same thing over and over again. And at one point, I guess, it just gets boring to watch on video. I mean, if you do something else like laundry, you could just have a look at the screen every so often. And oh, I didn't want to have the nougat pencil. See, I'm already messing up. I wanted the sepia, so I'm gonna put the nougat pencil away, and also the light brown one, so that I don't accidentally grab it. So I just have the olive green, sepia, and Payne's gray and indigo next to me to color all of these dark green bits here, or dark brown green. Raw umber, that's the word. So if you do laundry or something else like cooking or cleaning maybe, while you watch this video or listen to it, while working on the computer maybe, pretty much use me as a background noise. It might be not as boring for you, because then I'm chatting a lot. But if you really watch, it might be a little boring because of the big part of repetition here. That, well, happens with these kinds of pages where you have a huge section that you want to color, and all the bits and pieces are gonna be colored the same way. So it's not very interesting visually, I guess. I mean, it could be if you really like repetitive stuff. I'm not saying that it's not possible. But just as a warning, I might have a bit of this video be time-lapsed. I don't know yet. I will decide that on the fly, because that's how rebellious I am. I'm in a super good mood today, so you probably noticed I did already do my warm-up coloring bit that I decided to bring back into my artwork routine. It's currently March, so I think I did say it last week on the video that I'm participating in the 30-day coloring challenge. So that's a challenge where you are supposed to color every day, and maybe just like 5 or 10 minutes, nothing that would interrupt your daily life too much, but it's just a way to take care of yourself if you happen to find coloring enjoyable and also relaxing. So I'm currently working, in case you haven't seen on my Instagram, let me grab the PlayStation coloring book. And I'm working on one of the God of War pages bit by bit by bit. And today, as a warm-up, I colored his cloth here. So I got that done first, and I kind of enjoy it in a different kind of a way. So of course I do enjoy any kind of coloring, you know. It's just very relaxing to me. I can't stress that enough or tell you again and again and again on all the videos, many videos. But let me see if I'm in frame. Yes, I am. I haven't used coloring as a warm-up for my video recording days in a long time. I used to do that. I just remembered. I used to do that all the time before I had my big break of doing videos. Second part of 2018 to, I think it was May or June. June would be June 2019, when I had moved and, well, put up my new studio, yada 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 yada. Back in the olden days, I used to do warm-up colorings pretty much every day in the studio, even if it was quote-unquote just an editing day, so post-production in this case. Most of the times I did some little coloring just to, enjoy myself for one, but also to train the muscles, like the coloring muscles. And yes, they are invisible on any anatomy picture in the books. There is something called a coloring muscle or an artwork muscle, and that is just part of your normal muscle structure. But you stretch them and you learn new things and you try different kinds of techniques, and just using them means that some of the bigger projects or the more challenging projects you're attempting are maybe a little easier for you because you have muscle memory on, say, how to move a brush or how to get a flick with color done, or how to color something smoothly, or how to do wood grain. It's all muscle memory. And I used to do that every day with just a tiny little bit of coloring, different kinds of media, different kinds of books. And I forgot. I totally forgot. I usually remember things pretty well, but it seems that I forgot some of my old habits when it comes to artwork or how I work in the studio. And what I want to do, what I can do, what helps me, all the different kinds of things. And for one, I sort of know where that comes from. But on the other hand, I really have to make sure that I bring back my old habits in that way, because they definitely help me. I enjoy them a lot, so they are good for my physical health, my mental health. And I was kind of surprised the moment I realized, oh yeah, I remember that's what I did. Totally weird. I don't really know how to perfectly well describe what that feeling is or why I think I forgot. I mean, the thing that I understand why I forgot, or why I just didn't have enough mental capacity for it to remember, is that, well, my life is very different right now. I have a very different kind of daily routine and structure. I do have different kinds of obligations and tasks and all of that I didn't have before. Meaning I'm a caretaker now, so, or caregiver, whatever you want to call it. It's actually a caregiver, but who cares? In German language, we can make up words, and I seem to want to transfer that principle to other languages as well, because why not? I'm a rebel. So, yeah, I had to learn and get comfortable with my new daily routine and my tasks and all of that, energy levels, yada, 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 you know, all the things. So I guess what I did subconsciously, most definitely only subconsciously, I pretty much gave myself a clean slate, not wanting to incorporate my old daily routines into my new daily life so much. So I wanted to figure out, I guess, how my new life goes without having to bring in some of the old habits that I had, even if they were really good for me. Like, for example, having a warm-up coloring bit done. So I guess now there's a couple of things happening where I do have enough mental and physical strength and time and such to, first of all, recognize what I did there, but also to adjust it. If you happen to follow or watch my vlog videos, you know that Jan is currently in an outpatient program. So he's gone all day, every day. Well, not Saturday, Sunday, but, you know, Monday through Friday, which just opens up a lot of possibilities for me, and it opens up a lot of time for me. It just frees me from any other tasks and obligations. I just can, well, take care of myself instead of also taking care of somebody else and their needs and their tasks that have to be completed. So I guess with that new one freedom, and I'm really putting this in air quotes because, you know, the reason for him being in the clinic is not great, but it frees up a lot of my time. It frees up a lot of mental space, so not worrying, not always having to remember everything for two people, but only for one person, which is myself. I actually, the last week, so it's been pretty much almost a week now that he is in the program and gone, leaving the house like 7:30 in the morning. And he's only coming back like 5 p.m. ish. So that frees up a lot a lot of hours for me to just take care of my own stuff, to, well, do my work, do housework, and get everything done that I want to do. So I found that with decent energy levels, which I do have, that I can accomplish the work in 2 days that I needed a whole week for. When, well, he's home and I gotta take care of him too. So that was, for one, very surprising to me, because I hadn't realized that it does take up that much energy from me. I mean, I knew that it took energy and quite a lot of it, but I didn't know that I had that much energy at my disposal and I could, well, rearrange my daily routines in a way that I could get ahead of things quite a bit. So I'm actually able now to either bring in a couple more things that I just want to do. So private time, relaxing leisure time. Say, for example, very simple example is reading. So I do have way more time to read in a day. I do have time to actually stock up on videos, which is what I'm currently doing. I'm planning out my days a little differently, so I'm filming in the morning and doing post-production every day in the afternoon, because post-production works really well while doing housework. So while the laundry is in the washing machine, I can do some post-production and just hang up the wet laundry and on the drying rack while in between. So that's where I can quote-unquote multitask. It's not really multitasking, but you know what I mean. And I can do that every day, Monday through Friday. Aside from my own doctor's appointments and such, but they're not every week, not every day, so I can accomplish quite a couple of things, especially for my longer art projects. I do have a couple of art day videos planned because I have a couple of projects planned, and I can, like I said, what I used to accomplish in a whole week, I can accomplish in 2 days. So the program is supposed to be taking, I think, 8 weeks-ish. So what I want to do is use my energy to stock up on videos for, I don't know what the situation will be once the outpatient program is done. So I just want to stockpile a couple of videos to be able to publish after that. And since we're probably not, I haven't decided yet, but since we're probably not bringing back Board Game Island while he's in the outpatient program, I do have a lot of time to take care of my artwork videos and prep work for my Keep Dancing videos. So it just frees up a lot of time, and it's if I keep my good energy levels, which I'm trying to do, I'm really listening to my body, not overdoing it, but using the energy that I have on all the good days to well, accomplish things. I am thinking that springtime could be pretty good for me. So I still have the project with Jan to build our garden, so I will have to put aside a couple of days to work on that instead of videos. But still, it gives me so many hours in the day that, well, I could quite easily, I hope, take care of things and get them done and feel accomplished and being happy and doing something that I love and being more relaxed, maybe a little less stressed, less short on patience. So I'm thinking, for one, I will definitely use that time to my advantage and use the situation to my advantage. I'm not hurting anybody with that, so I'm good to go. But also trying to bring back my routine of having a warm-up piece, a tiny little bit of coloring every day, and stretch my muscles like that, like my artistic muscles. I think that will be very nice because there's also another fun fact. My partner happens to be also very interested in artwork, and he really likes the different kinds of things that I can do when it comes to colors. So we're currently talking color theory a lot and color combination for achieving different kinds of looks on something. So it being 2D like drawing, coloring, painting here, or being 3D like painting minis. We're just currently talking color scheme a lot because, well, this is something that I happen to like and not be too shitty at. So with the coloring challenge on Instagram, it so happens that I started sending him a photo every day when I would have colored my bit for the coloring page, and he would see just how progress works with me, because I had done the same with him. I'm using black, by the way, which I hardly ever use, but the Payne's gray is a little too light for me here, and I have bits of that wooden roof part here already colored with Payne's gray, so I want to bring in a little bit of black to enhance contrast. So every day when I colored my bit for the coloring challenge, I would send him a photo of the progress, because why not? And I did that for a week, I guess it was. Yeah, I think it was a week. And then one morning I just had base colored one of the swords of the God of War with just a little bit of Naples yellow, and that's that. So nothing more. I didn't find that interesting to send, so I didn't. And once he came off of work, he was like, "You didn't send me a photo today. Did you color?" Is like, where is the daily art picture in my? I need it. You know, it's like, I want to see the progress. So he doesn't only show interest, but holds me accountable for my coloring goals and such, which I find very surprising, but also very sweet. So we made a deal, pretty much, that he gets his daily, what I like to call, color doses, like with a pill. That you take every day, and you, like medication, yada yada yada, and you get your daily dosage of, say, B12, or I don't know, maybe D3 or vitamin C or whatever it is. He would get his daily art color dosage. So we've just been goofing around, and I said, okay, you got me. I'm gonna send you the daily color dosage against any gray daily routines that you might have. So that entails that I also have to send that once the coloring challenge ends, because that is the definition of the word daily. It doesn't mean only in a month, it means every single day. So I thought, okay, that actually triggered me to remember my old art routine in the studio. So having a warm-up coloring bit for before I started working on anything else for the artwork studio kind of part. So that is when I actually remembered, oh, yeah, I did that. So I'm gonna bring it back for one, because it helps me a lot and I really enjoy it, and I need to adjust my daily life to cover for 5 or 10 minutes just for time to get some coloring done. The second good thing about it, like advantage, is I'm gonna finish a couple of books because I do have 1, 2, 3 drawers of coloring books, plus the bigger books. So there's, for one, the what's it called? The Serene. That one, it doesn't fit into my drawers. And the Secret Garden coloring a book with watercolor paper. So these two, plus 3 drawers of coloring books that I do have, that are in various stages of being completed. I get to finish some of my coloring books and get them all beautiful and colorful. So, because I do have a deal with myself, I don't buy any other coloring books anymore unless I do have 1 or 2 of my books that are in my possession, have them completed. So I'm open to having a coloring book gifted to me. That's totally fine, but I'm not buying any. I still look at new coloring books every so often and put them on my wish list. And if I get them at one point, that's fine. If I don't, because they're not printed anymore or something like that, that's that. That's totally fine. There's no book that I need to have. And they're all very nice to have, but no book would probably exist where I'd say, oh, I need that to have a happy life or to feel good or something. That's just not me. I do have such a nice variety of coloring books that I can pretty much go for any style I like at any point, or at any subject or topic I like. So I got the flowers for, I think they're Maria Troll or Marie Troll. Then I got the whimsical with Kirby Rosans and Hannah Carlson. I got the very intricate coloring books, all the Johanna Basfords. Well, many of them. I don't have all of them. And I do have the goofy ones, which is PlayStation and Marvel. I do have the portrait ones, which is the Serene coloring book and the Jasmine Beckett Griffith coloring books. So I got different kinds of styles and different kinds of itches that they do scratch. So I don't need another one. Though I took a look at the new coloring book by Kerber Rosans, and it's quite different in style this time round. But it would be a nice to have book, but not a must have book. So I'm gonna put it onto the list of maybe one day when I do have one or two of my coloring books completed here. But until then, I can definitely live without them. But with me planning to get back to a daily warm-up sketch coloring kind of thing, I might be able to buy another book in, say, a year. Because then I do have books that are completed. I mean, there's some where I can work pretty fast. For one, I forgot her name. That one. By Karolina Kubikowska. And I'm not trying to butcher the Polish name. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. And I also have another faster one, the Mouse Guard book, where I can get through pages rather quickly, because I decided to mostly use watercolor or ink in those books. For example, I started a page that I'm also currently working on. You might have seen it in the vlog, this one here, and I just added ink tints to that. Why do I have a weird shadow on my frame? It's probably because of my little yellow light sources here. That's a little better. So it might be that I'm finishing the Kubikowska coloring book first, and maybe what's it called? The Mouse Guard coloring book first, because they're just faster to do, but I could also pretty quickly work in the Magical City coloring book. That is where I use a lot of ink tints as well. So with these kinds of media, not the colored pencils like in the Marie Troll coloring book, they are just faster to complete. And also, well, they tell a story and they're goofy and I like them. So yeah, it could be that end of 2021 I might buy a new coloring book. But I'm quite self-disciplined, so I'm granting things to myself, but I'm quite disciplined, so I'm going a lot with the award system with myself. So if you do that, then you can do that, because I work well like that. And it helps with, well, posting regularly on YouTube. I do struggle with other platforms like Instagram, always putting my videos up there for, like, with a post saying, this is new on YouTube, take a look. I struggle with that, but all in all, self-disciplined tasks that I set for myself when it comes to video work in particular, they work really well with me, I gotta say. So, and then I award myself with, okay, you accomplished that, so you can do that or buy that one thing. It's also like art supplies. I use them as a reward for myself when accomplishing a bigger task. So I don't know yet what my next award's gonna be. Maybe it's gonna be some minis or some games. I don't know yet. Here we go. We'll find out. I will find out when I put it in a basket, like shopping cart, or you will find it out on the vlogs, because I usually tell that it was time to reward myself with something. And I wonder, are you kind of working the same way? Is that something that you find yourself doing too? Or are you having a different kind of a personality and maybe do not work well with the reward system at all? So how do you legitimize that you're buying, say, art supplies or coloring books? What's your way of not just consuming for the sake of consuming? Or maybe are you doing that? But not putting anyone down here, because that's not my place. But do you struggle with that? Because, well, coloring books are so beautiful and they make you happy, but then it's more like collecting instead of finishing them, or maybe not. How do you work? What's your personality like? What do you find yourself doing? Are you happy and content with just one coloring book at a time in your stash, or do you need maybe 5 or 10 or 100? What's it like for you? Or are you more of a person to buy art supplies like paper and color pencils or brushes, watercolors, acrylics, canvases, and they are your quote-unquote rewards to create your own artwork? What's it like for you? I want to know. Let me know in the comment section below, because yeah, I'm not only a rebel, I am curious how the human mind works, where we are all alike and where we could be a little different, and how our brains work with, well, certain different kinds of what's the word? Oh gosh. Certain kinds of, I'm blanking on the word. Grrr. I had trouble this morning when drinking my tea and chatting to my partner. I had the same trouble, and I was already telling him, I was like, oh, okay, when I film later, this is gonna be fun. And I was so happy that for the first 30-ish minutes, I did really well, and then I'm blanking on a goddamn word. And it sets me off and triggers my word finding trouble. Grrr, brain, come on. Certain kinds of, I'm trying to find the word. I'm gonna mumble until I find it, because I'm stubborn as hell. Certain kinds of habits? No, habits is the wrong word. Certain way of thought processes. Yeah, maybe that fits. You know what I mean? Also, the word is processes, not processes. Still mumbling here, because still trying to figure out if I found the correct word. Thank you, MS Brain. You're so lovely. By the way, it's MS Awareness Month in March. So another thing that I thought I'd do for the 30-day coloring challenge, because I have the God of War coloring page almost done. So I will very likely be able to get to another coloring book and or page before the month is over. I thought maybe I'd color something in orange, because orange is the color for MS. And I haven't really participated on Instagram yet in spreading awareness this month for this wonderful, lovely disease. So I think I might do that by combining the two, the 30-day coloring challenge and MS awareness. So doing or creating something nice, something beautiful to bring awareness to something that could be ugly, but doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, my life isn't ugly. I do have ugly days, sure. I am not saying, oh, I'm so not touched by the disease. I don't have any problems. Not at all. But it's very well manageable for me at this point. So why not bring some positivity to the world, especially to the disabled by MS community, by making MS as beautiful as it can be without taking away from the struggles. So I could, for example, call it ergotherapy or physical therapy, because coloring sometimes are quite tricky when, well, there's not perfect dexterity or strength in your hands. It's a challenge. But also coloring every day and training and, well, stretching your muscles does add to better movement and creating new neurological pathways in your brain that could decrease and or diminish any symptoms of a certain sort. That was lovely. Or not. So I could maybe post something along those lines and get a little bit of an upbeat message across for anybody that is maybe having an off day or a bad time with MS and maybe struggling, just to remind them, hey, it's not always gonna have to be this way. Gotta do the work, but your body is able to adapt and adjust. That's what that's actually, I guess, that's the superpower of people with MS. Adjusting and adapting. We're really good at that because we have to be, not because we want to be. So maybe I'm gonna post something along those lines. We'll see. If you follow me on Instagram, you might see a post that is along those lines. I'm just pretty much brainstorming here with you. Also using my black pencil instead of my Payne's gray again, because that part is even darker than the roof panels to the right of it, because there's no light bouncing off. So there's a little light bouncing off here, but hardly any light bouncing off there. So it has to be darker, because physics. It's very simple. Okay, not too shitty, and quite some progress made. I like that. So I think I'm just gonna finish everything upwards of this beam first and not go panel by panel by panel. So I'm gonna get back to my olive green and bring it in. Of course, you have to sing that because it's a law. Yeah, no, goofball. Like I said, I'm in a very good mood today. Last night I went out with my friends to the movies. That's something actually really cool. At university, I don't know how often, but I think once every semester or maybe twice every semester, they show recently published movies, so they're not like 5 years old. They show them in one of the big Audimax kind of large rooms with snacks and drinks and everything for a very reasonable price. So we watched the movie yesterday, Zombieland 2, which was published, I think, or released, that's actually the correct word, I think 3 months ago, 4 months ago maybe. I don't remember exactly, but it hasn't been too long. And we watched it for a very reasonable price because students, they don't have a lot of money, and they offered the movie for €2.50. That's like nothing. You can't even get a sandwich for that kind of money, but you can see a movie if you want to watch it at a university, and you don't have to be a student because I'm not. And I got to watch it with my friends for that amount of money. So we went out last night and had a lot of fun together. And that is really something I enjoy doing every so often, and it puts me into a very good mood. I can goof around with my friends. What's not to like, you know? All these tiny bits here I can actually just color all in one go. Because there is not enough space for light to bounce off, where I need to leave some of the Neocolor 2 painting showing underneath. I just can go on top with pencils solid. So that's very dark spot here. And the good thing of polychromos is they're oil based, so they blend really well. And you can layer them like crazy. The bad thing is if your paper is saturated, which in my case it is in this part here, it has kind of like an oily sheen on it, which could reflect, depending on your lights, quite a bit. And I do have to move my head and upper body quite a bit to see the real colors. Not complaining, it's physical therapy for me. Like moving around a lot, not being stiff, and having my muscles work well. But it's a little tricky, especially when I'm filming and I don't want to have my big old head in the frame. A little more of the Payne's Gray, because darkening things up is quite important on this part. But also indicating, yep, this is a beam, So I'm gonna add a little more of the brown. I gotta tilt the paper. Yep, that doesn't look shitty. Which I like, but it needs to have a little bit of the dark here. Just a one tiny little spot that I didn't get. And also darkening things up even more, because there's no light reflection. There we go. So let's get the last little bit above that big brown beam here. Get that colored and all out of the way. But after that, I think I will color the beam and then go maybe for a few of the little trinkets that are placed around the room. Just to switch up things for me and not rush and get annoyed with the same color scheme for most of the bits on this page. I talked about that extensively in the last video, so I'm not gonna repeat myself too much, but it's just something I like to do to break things into manageable sections for me, to not get annoyed with a coloring page or to be tempted to rush something, because that is not what I want to do in this case, because I think the picture is pretty enough for me to color it as well as I can to make it look awesome, or at least okay or good. And I tend to not be good at that when I start rushing something, because then when I look back at the page excuse me, when I look back at the page, I tend to see the flaws that I recognize because I was rushing, and I don't want to do that for this page, because I like the big wooden roof and the high roof on this room. It's just something that I like. So I want to do the best I can on this page, give it justice in regards to my efforts I put in. There's other pages in this book where I'm like, yeah, whatever, but there's a few that I'm really wanting to spend time on and coloring it as well as I might, without any compromises or like, yeah, fucked that up, whatever. So this is one of the pages where I want to put in the effort, because I think it's just so pretty. I don't know which artist drew this particular page, but I recognize it from other pages and I really like his or her work. I haven't looked up all the artists on the web yet. I might do at one point, but for now this is not criteria that is important for me. I just happen to really like that art style, that way of putting line work down. I like it, for example, way more than, say, this one here. This is way too cartoony for me, for the era it is representing. I find that these kinds of line works here work well better. A lot more. What did I just say? I said a wrong word. Or these ones here, I think it's just way more fitting to the 17th and 18th century. So I do tend to spend way more time and effort on these kinds of pages instead of the cartoony ones. These are the ones where I kind of even try to cover up the line work to make it look nice for me. And that's not a diss on the artist, not at all. It's just my preference that I like a certain style of art more for the era it is representing with this story. But I also like that there's, I don't know how many artists did contribute to the book. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different artists did contribute, and I can think I think 4 I can recognize. I'm not sure about number 5 and 6, but yeah, I like that this is not just of one illustrator, but multiple, and you can, well, color something in your favorite kind of style. You can maybe just go with one artist or 2 artists that you like the line work of, color those pages, or you can be like me and challenge yourself to do at least a good job on every single kind of page in this book, even if you don't prefer certain styles of illustrating. Can broaden up your view on art, and maybe challenge yourself to, well, even work with not so perfect circumstances, like not having the line work that you like. So that part of the roof is done. I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea, and then I'm gonna keep on coloring. There we go. Lovely tea. I love Earl Grey. All right. I wanted to color that beam next. So this one is hit by a little bit of light from the window, so I'm gonna start with that part. And then I'm gonna bring in the sepia to, for one, shade the beam, and then also add the wood grain, because you gotta have that. And I'm just using the line work of the Illustrator again for my wood grain and add a little bit of my own. Because why not? And then I'm gonna bring in Payne's Gray to shade a little more here on the left-hand side part of the beam. I still want a lot of the neo color layer to peek through, but I need to darken things up a tiny little bit. So. And I don't want to use sepia for that because I used it for the wood grain. I think it just works a little better if I use Payne's Gray and therefore desaturate the shadow bits. And I'm gonna add a little bit of black. I don't want to use the indigo here because I do have way too much way too many parts of the page be only with that beam, not the page, of that beam be just colored with the neo colors, so the indigo would look very blue on it because the paper would take quite a bit of pigment. So I'm using the black instead, again going for the desaturated look, but still have a bit of contrast. Like so. So I need to add a little bit of the brown here. There we go. I think I'm blowing on my tea for one. I think I'm gonna color. Do I color some of the tiny bits? Questions. Not really. Because I just realized I do already have all the tiny bits shaded, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of the blue pencil here to the window, because then I can put it back into the tray. I don't think I will need that anymore on this page. So maybe I don't want to go any further with the browns now, because that is the point where I would feel like I'd rush things. But I don't want to color the furniture either yet, because I want to put that in front of the background wall and roof. So I can't really get to the point yet where I could color some of that. Maybe I just will color that one panel here and then call it a day for today. Wonderful. Oh gosh, great. Sounds perfect. And that was sarcastic because I used day twice in a row in a sentence. But maybe that would be a good point then to stop the video for today. Just to, because, well, I do have more time to film, but I actually don't want to rush things. Also, I just realized it's a beautiful sunny day today outside. So instead of sitting here and filming, I could maybe have a lunch break put in and sit on my patio and read a bit before I go on with post-production. So I think it would be way smarter for me to finish the video after this little bit here and then film some more tomorrow, so that I'm not rushing these wooden panels here and then be upset with myself. Which means you're not getting the full 2-hour video today, but I guess you will be okay with that, because there was a lot of repetitive stuff here and I tried to chat it away, make it a little more interesting. But I guess you have your breaking point too. And I don't want to break you. I want you to enjoy this, so guess that's a perfect plan. I have a new book to start, so I finished the first book in a series. It was called The Invisible Library. Now I finished book 1, so I could actually start book 2 while sitting on the patio for a minute, sipping a hot cup of tea, reading a few pages, and then go on with housework and post-production for today, because I need to spend some time for preparing dinner. Needs a couple of hours, and both Jörn and Sebastian will be here around 5-ish. Or I could also add this little bit of the roof here. So I should start cooking something 3-ish, which would be in 2.5 hours. And I think that's the perfect plan for me to plan the rest of my day. So finish filming, writing down all the info for the blog, taking photos, importing footage to the computer, then sitting on the patio, reading a bit, maybe half an hour or something, getting some vitamin D, soaking up all that lovely March sun, and then move on to cooking and doing laundry. And while the goulash is on the stove, I could actually do post-production. I think that's a perfect plan. So I'm just gonna execute it like that. But first, all of these little panels here have to be colored, because I need to find a good point to end a video. I don't like to do that at whatever point in the coloring process, because then I find it to be weird, or well, not difficult. Difficult is the wrong word, but maybe a little weird on when I get back to the page to restart again. I always need a good point to stop working for a day and being able to continue on another day. Weird art, mind, brain. Since this is also a part of the roof that is very well in the shadow, so not lit up at all, I will add some of the black to just darken things up even more. And this is pretty much the last resort, or the last option I go for when it comes to coloring. I hardly ever use black unless I have, well, monochrome black and white piece I want to color, but that doesn't happen too often. But I'm using just a little bit of black to darken things up, make him even less contrasty and put it even further into the shadow here. There we go. So that would be it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching along and listening to me chit-chatting, not chit-chalking, chit-chatting about things. I'm very hopefully seeing you again next week, when I will continue the roof work on Geillis's Workspace. So this is what the whole page looks like now. Da, 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 da. The blog post is up by now, so you can hop on over to my webpage or my Facebook page if you want to be reading that and reading up on the very few pencils I used today, and see like a well enough taken photo of it. The webpage is in the description box below. It is pinselgeschichten.de in case you're watching this way later, like not the day that it's published. You can, when you hop onto my webpage, you just enter the video name into the search bar and you will and you will be directed to the accordant blog post for this part of the video series. Sheesh, talking. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you liked this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up, because that tells me that I'm on the right path when it comes to filming something interesting for you. If you're new to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe and peruse all the videos and playlists. There's lots of different kinds of art videos and board game videos, podcasts, the Keep Dancing Disability show, and of course my weekly vlog, lots of different kinds of things that happen in an artist's life. So have a wonderful day, do some coloring, do something creative, something that you really like, enjoy it, immerse yourself in it, and just relax. And I hope you have a great day, and I'm gonna see you. Bye.